Settembrini.
Biscuiți de biscuiți, ia să vedem. Cu fichi. Nu e foarte dulce, e perfect. Asta, biscuitul ăsta e fraged, așa. Italien, din la mătușa mea. De la mama Luțu.
Am nevoie de o cafea în viața mea, cum am nevoie de iubirea ta, să dau la schimb cu a mea.
Ca dracu, bă, ieri a fost mai devreme autobuzul și am luat taxiul și acum au ajuns cu 2 minute mai târziu, asta este. Da, sunt în Jewellery Quarter aici, aproape de muncă. Și în cartierul ăsta sunt mai multe muzee. Acum vreau să vizitez unul dintre ele. Se numește Pen Museum. Știu că îi place Deli de la Doru și Delia mult pixelele. Îi plac mult pixelele și eu i-am invitat să mergem împreună, dar au trecut destul deja destul de mult timp și am decis să mă duc singur. Și să vedem cum arată. Afară cam plouă. Asta e vremea de Anglia. Dar e ok. Burează așa, nu plouă tare.
Ia uitați.
Muzeu de pixel, de stilouri. Nu știu dacă pot să filmez înăuntru, dar încet.
Aici prețuri la bilete. Mi-a zis de aici, de la intrare, că pot să filmez, să fac poze dacă vreau.
Au și un canal de YouTube, o să las aici în descriere.
William Mitchell. Piramida lui Mitchell. Mitchell Family. John Mitchell a făcut...
Pistolul de fier, de oțel.
E aici? Joseph Gilles Rose. Cel mai tare designer. Ia uite. Arată bine. Ia uitați aici stilul. Ce mi cerau stilourile? Index nib. You can purchase a replica of the index nib in our shop. Uite, poți să cumperi stilul ăsta dacă vrei, o replică. Telefon pen. Labor cannot be. Asta pare steaua aia de la armată, nu? Inks, Wells, Past, Present, Future. The Rise and Fall.
Da, înainte să vin aici am citit și eu pe site că zicea că majoritatea angajaților erau femei care lucrau acolo.
Nu uitați cum arată fabrica. Asta în anii 1800, 1906. 1897. Joseph Gillott, spending his money on English life. Interesantă povestea asta lui Josiah Mason. A început să-i vândă mamei sale prăjiturile de la vârsta de 8 ani. Și după aia s-a apucat de făcut stilouri și el. Nicky Stevens. Deci dacă apeși aici, ce se întâmplă? Nu se întâmplă nimic. Fucking game. John Sheldon. Penițe de stilouri. Mai multe penițe de stilouri aici. De la Hard Pen. Uite cum arată. Astea-s vechi tare, cred că. Uite, au și rezerve astea. Caligrafie. Cerneală. Aici înveți să scrii tu. Caligrafie. Tot felul de scrisuri. Asta e primul pix. Primul stilou. Pana. Când scria William Shakespeare cu pana. Ce fel arată. Mi-aduce aminte de cerneala din clasa 1, a 2-a. Clasele primare. Iar pana. Aici poți să înveți să desenezi, să scrii mai frumos. Tot felul de caligrafii. Au și un tablou cu reguli aici. Deja au trecut la Global Market aici. Au început să vândă și peste mări și țări. De aici din Anglia. În toată lumea. Uitați. Ce fel e stiloul ăsta? Ce fain arată stilul ăsta. Zici că e pipă. Știu că pipa era așa din lemn. Bine, arată un pic diferit. Astea zici că sunt creioane din lemn și adăugate penițele la în vârf. Stilo bic. Acum eu dacă mi-am luat biletul online, nu știu. Dacă ți iei un bilet de la, îl pui aici și aici e ștampila. Și înăuntru ai biletul și când apeși, se ștampilează, cred că. Ca și cum să-l avizezi că ăla e că a intrat. Să-l ștampilezi. The revolutionary written communication. The story of the Pen Museum. În 96, Brian Jones MB was interviewed on BBC Radio, West Midlands, adică județul de aici, de unde ne aflăm noi în Birmingham, se cheamă West Midlands. The Carl Chin Show, he was promoting a book about the great Birmingham industrialist and philanthropist. Just so amazing. Mason made his million from. Se pare că era bună afacerea asta cu stilouri în perioada aia. Acum mi-am dat seama, aici erau penițe desenate. Ce mai avem pe aici? Niște broșuri. Uitați aici ce caricatură. Portret. Asta e Boston. Să vedem aici. E magazinul. 28 de lei. 23. Uite, pană. Pană cu peniță. Asta nu știu cât costă. Ai 13 lei. Asta are și ștampilă, parcă aici. Asta e 30 de lei. Ce fain-nes astea. Stiluri cu rezervă, 13 lei. Nu sunt chiar așa de scumpe, zici că să nu-ți permiți. Ce fain e asta. Câte penițe, ai penițe de schimb, să scrii mai gros, să scrii mai subțire. Pentru caligrafie, ați văzut? Ce fain. Asta e o carte, așa pare. Astea sunt separatoare pentru cărți. Cum se cheamă astea? Creioane. Nu, de cerneală. Cât e o cerneală între asta? Asta e cerneală roșie. Cerneală albastră, neagră. Dar sunt așa la rezerve, 2,50 €. Nu știu cât e prețul ăsta. Ce fain e și asta.
It could take the top off. You need to be gentle. With this type, the universe type, there's a ring and there's petals.
Asta e 18,50 €.
So you should always see all 4 petals. It depends how it feels in your hand. Right? So that one feels a bit more like a paintbrush, and then try that one. So it does fit in both. It's just a matter of what level you want to do it at. And then the other options are the ones that have grips.
Aș putea să are cărți. Deci sunt mai multe stilouri sau... Da. Carioci. Ia uitați astea. Sunt și creioane îndoite. Din ceară. Și au mina înăuntru, cred că. Și... cred că sunt făcute cu ceară. Ia să vedem, asta cât costă? Asta e 22 de lei. Tot așa. Pentru caligrafie. Tare. Masterclass. Tot felul de cerneală pe aici. Uitați aici penițe. Bine, cred că sunt și penițe de întregat, din aur, ca să... pentru aia care au cucei. Bine, că ți iei asta, bățul separat, să-l alegi tu, care îți place, și după aceea ți iei doar penița și ți-o pui, ți-o schimbi, care vrei tu. Dacă ai un set dintre asta cu penițe mai mici, mai mari, în funcție de grosime, cum vrei tu să scrii, mai gros, mai subțire. Silver ink. Uite, asta scrie cu argint. Tare. Deci are cerneală cu argint asta. Asta e cerneală cu aur. Bine, e 10 lei. Cred că e doar suflat cu aur. Sau doar... cine știe. sau doar culoarea aurie. Uitați aici alt model de la William Mitchell. Deci el are așa bățucul tot cu ăsta, suportul de peniță de vârf. Și aici are numai vârfurile. În cutia asta pe grăsimi. Mai gros, mai subțire. Fain. Tot William Mitchell. Am spăpat oricile. N-are nimic. Se mai întâmplă. Acum am văzut că scriau Albury aici. Pe pachetul ăsta de stilouri. Tot William Mitchell ăsta. Albury aici este un cartier. Fix aici la intrare. Este un ceas aici. National. Dar nu știu pentru ce e asta. Cred că să pui muzică. Aici pui monedele, bănuiesc. Și aici schimbi melodia sau ceva. Sorry, can you tell me about this clock?
Yeah, it comes from a former factory, and it was for factory workers. So if they enter the building,
Yeah.
they would put the card in here, stamp it, and it would tell the employer this is the time that you turned up for work.
For clock in and
And
clock
then
out.
when you leave
Alright.
as well, and if you don't do it, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So it's to prove that you were at work.
I understand
Yeah,
now.
it's
I
another way
thought
of keeping an eye on you.
I thought it's about songs. You put coins and put
Oh, so
songs.
we get a present or songs. That would be nice. No, it's a way to keep an eye on the workers.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ia să-mi desenez și eu pe aici ceva. Uite, mi-aleg slow ăsta. Poate nu mă zguresc. Mi-agăț și eu pe aici, pe undeva. O să prind asta aici. Și mergem mai departe acum. I finish here. Can we go the other side?
So the second room is just across here.
The Brian Jones room.
Yeah, so this is the original workshop part.
Wow.
And Andy will be able to tell
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Right.
Good.
Just to say, this is the second of 3 rooms.
Yes.
In here, various displays to look at. Also, I'll talk you through how a pen nib's made, and you get to keep your own pen nib over 100 years old. That's our gift to you.
Wow.
Okay. And there's a film to watch, a 10-minute film as well.
Wow.
So have a look round and give us a shout when you wanted to have the pen demonstration.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Băi, ați auzit? O să am un stilou din partea lor, ca și cadou. Ce tare! Nu mă așteptam la asta. Oricum, cred că o să cumpăr un stilou pentru Delia, m-am gândit așa eu. Aici e camera lui... E a doua cameră. Asta e prima cameră. Și aici să vedem. Sunt multe. O afacere întreagă. O grămadă de modele, o grămadă de inventatori. Micel ăsta. Sunt mai mulți. Ce pare ceanicul ăsta? Nu-i ceanic. Asta este vasul cu cereală care umpli cereala care ți s-a consumat. Și asta la fel, cred că. Ce tare. Ce că la mine e ceanic. Ce fain arată asta.
Okay, guys. We take you to the third room. You see the lines of women in the factory, I mean, you know. Took 10 to 12 hour day. Difficult job. Yeah, exactly.
Bine, că pe pereți pe aici sunt multe de văzut. E cameră plină asta. Cu tot felul de cerneli, cu tot felul de penițe. Steven Sink în gam. Cred că e de șters. În gam. Cum e guma la noi. De șters creionul. Tot felul de penițe. Da. Uitați ce fel arată penițele astea. În formă de mătură. Scrie cu mai multe vârfuri odată. Pentru când desenezi sau cum înțeleg. Sorry, can I ask you something?
Oh, of course you can, yeah.
I'm so, it made me so curious this.
They're for musical notes, you know, for writing music.
So you make the lines.
Yes, exactly. Spot on. So,
I understand. All right, thank
I
you.
mean, some of the pen nibs, you'll see the really fancy ones, were merely to show how clever the factory was when they're selling pens. They were really just for display, not use. But no, there were music pens. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Deci ați văzut că astea cu mai multe vârfuri sunt făcute pentru că nu erau caiete de muzică cum sunt acum și îți făceai liniile alea pentru portativ. De fapt, portativ se cheamă. Îți făceai portativul și tu ca să desenezi notele. Ce tare! M-a impresionat chestia asta. Adică mi-a sărit în ochi. Că văd că toate au așa, un vârf. Și era ceva deosebit, era altfel. Bine, și astea sunt altfel, dar... Zici că sunt nuanțe? Ia ce frumos. Sunt multe.
Would you like me to take you through how a pen nib's made? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, first of all, the floor you're standing on dates back to 1850s, so 170 years old, okay? So you see, lots of people have trodden this over the years, stood the test of time. Just out of interest, and this is probably, what country are you from?
Romania.
Oh, Romania.
Yes.
Do you know who? Did you know that Romania is where the first fountain pen was invented?
Yes.
Yeah, good man. Okay, but just to say, just out of interest, before this was a factory in 1850, 170 years ago, somebody came over here. There was a little cottage here, a little house, and in 2 nights they wrote a famous British classic. So if you Google this,
Yeah.
called Rip Van Winkle. Rip Van Winkle is the story of somebody who falls off to sleep for 200 years and wakes up. It's a very famous British classic written by a guy called Washington Irving. So a bit of history even before the Pen Museum was here. Okay,
Wow.
so first question. Most of the jobs in the factory were done by women. Why do you think that was?
Because it was an easy job, maybe for.
Well, typically, a man.
I mean,
no.
easier than
Easier. Well,
than the others.
can you think of any other reason?
Maybe meticulous.
That's good.
Something.
And normally, the women say we're more dexterous, and they
Yes.
are. As a bloke, it hurts me to say it, but they're better at that.
Yes.
But the men usually say they were cheaper to employ.
Ah.
And both are right. Both are right. Okay. So,
All right.
first job though done by men was to roll out the steel. So that's typical of the thickness of steel. Depends on the pen nibs being made that day. So there you
Right.
are. And then they were stamped out on this machine. Okay. Now
So they're cutting.
cutting them out. Now, just to say, that's what it would look like. I've been cut.
Yeah.
A woman on here would do 36,000 in one day. 36,000. So imagine a woman doing that, 36,000. You wouldn't argue with that woman.
Wow.
Very strong.
Yes.
Okay? But the woman on here, it was the worst paid job on the production line because it was the safest. So the more dangerous the job, the more the worker would be paid. Okay? So this woman, 36,000 in a day, weighed at the end of the day by the foreman. If they were short, they would then be fined some of their wages. So it'd be weighed at the end of the day to make sure they'd done 36,000. So then...
Then...
No, that's a lot later. Sorry, that shouldn't be there, but...
That's
yeah,
later.
Yeah. So
later.
then,
Another step.
So the next thing is to
It's
put
another
it,
department, this.
Yeah.
No, it
So
was
there'll be
another
line-
department.
I mean, here...
Lines, yeah.
You've got every sort, but there'll be a lines of one particular machine.
Yeah.
So then, the piercing would be done. Now, this, you'll see there's a small hole in the pen nib. And that hole...
What is that for?
That's
To hold it.
Two things. A reservoir for the ink, so it keeps the ink in the pen,
All right.
But also, it stops a pen nib from splitting completely later on, okay? So that tiny little innocuous piercing,
All right.
very important, okay? But every pen museum, every pen factory had a different shaped piercing. It's just a marketing thing, but there had to be that little hole there. So then,
I see.
now the woman on here would do 18,000. So there'd be twice as many of these machines as those, because she's doing 36,000, they're doing 18,000, okay? But because you could nip your fingers, if you're putting it in there to be pierced, and that would come down to pierce it, that was better paid than that job because you could hurt your fingers if you lost concentration, okay? So the next job after that was to mark the pen nib. Now, there would be stamps, different stamps depending on the nib being made, and you'll see there, you probably can just about see it, it's not very clear, there is writing on there and a product number. And most of the pen nibs would have the name of the factory there, and then there would be a serial number to say what sort of pen nib it was. Now,
A model code.
yeah. Now,
Like, no.
just to say, the woman on here would do 18,000 as well.
Same as this.
Same as that. But you'll see if you walk around, there are footballers' pens, there are barristers' pens. Now, a footballer pen hasn't got a nice little football on. It merely says footballer's pen and the name of the factory. So it was purely a marketing tool, okay? And the solicitors...
Special for footballers, special for
sportsman,
directors.
Yeah, every
special.
sportsman would want to have a footballer's pen.
Even nowadays, they have personalized pens.
Yeah.
Like a factory or something.
Well, funny enough, the solicitors' pens had a very thin veneer of gold on them because they're expensive, and solicitors, very high class.
Yes.
But because gold is soft, you can't have a completely gold nib. So it was a very thin veneer of gold on basically the base metal. Okay,
Right.
so then after you've been marked, you would then be put in a large vat.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course.
Because on the shop, I've seen an ink made of gold or something.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's the ink. Yeah.
Is it gold or not?
No, I don't think so.
It's just golden.
Gold.
The color.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Because it's only 10 pounds, I think. No, it's
No,
not.
it'd be very, very expensive.
Yeah, it would be more expensive than 10 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Now, so then they'd have to soften the pen nib for the next process. So it'd be put in a very large container. This is a tiny replica, and it would be done by men and boys. This, and it would be they would heat
So it was the same size, or
yeah, or it'd be massive. No, this is a tiny
bigger.
metal. Yeah,
All right.
massive.
This one
And
is
it-
in
and it-
miniature.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd be metal. Because the barrel would be heated to 600 degrees centigrade, red hot,
Wow.
full of horrible chemicals to soften it for the next process, which
Wow.
was to raise it. Now here you'll see, have a look at that. You'll see there, the mark, the piercing mark, slightly different to the one I showed you.
Yes.
Because every pen
Why this
factory,
shape?
it had every pen factory had a different shape.
It was another factory.
Yeah, exactly, another factory.
All right.
And you'll see now it's starting to look like a pen nib.
Yes.
Because it had been softened, they were able to then shape it into
Yes.
a pen nib. Now this job, right, putting it in there and using this was the most dangerous job in the factory. Women lost tips of fingers because if they didn't concentrate fully, they were doing this very quickly, it was a two-handed job, it was quite dangerous. And this was the best paid job in the factory. The raising of the pen nib, best paid job because it was the most dangerous. And there were a lot of women walking around with tips of fingers missing from years in the factory.
And at that time didn't have regulations of safety or
No,
PPE or anything.
No, absolutely not.
All
They
right.
just had to meet the targets. So then the next job would be to slit it. Now if you press that down on the edge of your finger, nice and hard, and you'll see a split appears.
Ah, yes.
Now, without that slit, the pen nib would be useless because the ink runs down there onto the paper. Okay, so that's very important, that bit. Okay,
Yeah.
And at the time when it was, I've shown you a shiny one. It wouldn't have been shiny because it would be putting more chemicals to do two things. One, to harden it. Remember, it had been softened for that by
Yes.
chemicals. It needed to be hardened again for lifelong use and shined up because nobody wants a pen nib looking all dull. They don't want a nice shiny pen nib. So more chemicals, and then it'd be put in a barrel again, which would be full of this gravelly stuff, which is like sandpaper in a way, I suppose, to shine it beautifully because everybody wants a shiny pen nib. Now, at the end, it would be packaged. I'm going to ask you the question, but I'm going to give you the answer because it'd be very unfair to ask a Romanian guy the answer to this. But just to say, in 1909, somebody flew the English Channel for the first time. And that person, I normally, if it's an English guy, I'll ask them just in case they knew it. But it's a guy called Louis Blériot, a Frenchman. Now, for an English firm to celebrate a Frenchman in those days, because England and France, sometimes big friends, sometimes a bit not so friendly.
Yeah.
And in 1909, that was probably the case. But this English Jewellery Quarter firm in this area, anything famous had happened, they'd jump on that and make a special commemorative pen, like commemorative postage stamps, you know, anything to make a marketing thing out of it. So this one is called the Aviator pen. And I think when the factory closed, because it was celebrating a Frenchman, they had lots and lots left. They didn't sell very well.
Oh, because
It's a
at
Frenchman.
that, at that time maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully not now, even with Brexit.
Maybe.
So there you are. So that, you get to keep that. That's over 100 years old. It's called the Aviator pen. When you look at that under a magnifying glass, you will see it's got the name of the factory and the Aviator pen to celebrate this guy flying the English Channel for the first time.
Wow.
And you don't have to, but for £2 you can buy the column. If you want to actually use it, you can buy the column from the shop, but you don't have to.
All right. Thank you so much.
So I'll just give you a little
I will.
sample.
Anyway, I want to buy some more.
Okay, so there you go.
I have friends who
So-
really love pens. And
Oh, brilliant. So
I want to make a gift.
Are you visiting Birmingham then, or visiting the UK? And touring
Actually,
around?
my work is just next road.
Oh
I
yeah.
work in Cooks and Gold.
Cookson's, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very famous.
I worked there
bullion
for
dealers.
a year or so, more than a year.
Actually,
And I've seen this last year,
yeah.
but I didn't get a ticket till now.
Oh well, I'm glad you've come anyway.
Yes.
You know.
I said one day I should go there.
Yeah,
So I decided to go after work.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I worked for 10 years in the Jewellery Quarter,
Wow.
and if you, not as a jeweller, my job was to regenerate the area, right? So, just out of interest, when I live in Birmingham born and bred. I live in South Birmingham. This is North Birmingham, and
Long time.
to Brummies, Birmingham people, it's like the Berlin Wall in the middle of the city. If you live in South Birmingham, you go to different places in South Birmingham, but you rarely go north. So when I got a job working in the Jewellery Quarter, for the first time, I'd never been to the Jewellery Quarter. I bought my wife a ring, not from here, disgraceful, not from the Jewellery Quarter. So I'd never been to the Jewellery Quarter, but when I came to the Jewellery Quarter, I learned so many famous things have happened in the Jewellery Quarter, and so many famous things have been invented. So I thought, I need to let people know this as they walk around the area. So you'll see there's certain slabs in the pavement. I don't know if you've noticed them. Along this road to the clock, from the bottom of the Newhall Hill, there are slabs in a bronze.
Yes,
slabs.
I noticed, and I filmed them, but I don't know.
Well,
I don't know the story. I was looking online.
There should be a
But
guide to them. There's something called
I've seen something, but something
Yeah,
fake.
it's annoying really because we used to have an actual written guide to them, but you can get, there's something called the Business Improvement District, and they, I think, have a guide to them. But just to say, there are two pavement trails, one up here,
But yeah,
one down
and
towards
different.
the town.
Yeah, those are messages.
She was done by a different artist. There was two. I employed two artists, one to do that one to do this one.
Two different artists.
Yeah.
So one was doing quotes like
Well, yeah.
messages, and this one was
This
messages
one
with.
it's called the Charm Bracelet Trail. So there's different things in there like you'd have on a charm bracelet. So if you walk down that hill, you will see the Titanic
Titanic.
sinking. It's
I
a
haven't
bronze
seen it.
down there. If you walk down that hill, and that is because the Titanic was made in Northern Ireland, Belfast.
Yeah.
But the whistles on the lifeboats were made in the Jewellery Quarter. So we always say the boat was made in Ireland that sunk, but the whistles that were made in the Jewellery Quarter worked on the boats. So there's that, and also the FA Cup, you know, the Football Association Cup, Football Cup, originally made in the Jewellery Quarter. So you'll see a picture of the FA Cup, you know, the Football Cup.
Wow.
So so those slabs are all the way down there, and the ones into town include one of a movie camera, because there was a factory down down the road there, Newhall Street, called Elkington's, and they invented the process of celluloid. So we say you wouldn't celluloid like for the film, you know, the old-fashioned film.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So we say that Hollywood owes it to Birmingham, because you wouldn't have a film industry without us inventing celluloid.
Wow.
So lots of things, so worth looking at some stage. Anyway, that's yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let me know. Do you want to watch the film? And there's a third room as well. Just
yeah.
take your time. Take your time. Let me know when you want the film.
Yeah, I watch
okay?
it. I watch it now.
I mean, the third room. by
Aici,
the way.
ce mai sunt? One sec, I want to film this.
No problem. No problem.
Că văd că mai este ceva pe aici. Victoria Works. Tot așa, sunt mai multe feluri de penițe. Și aici sunt doar vârfurile. Ești tot la fel. Numai că e alt model. Alt inventator de asta. Cum a zis domnul ăsta, au fost mai multe fabrici. Parcă țin minte penițele astea cu modele așa. Decorated. The Perry Light Car. It was another factory in Perryborough.
Sorry.
Because I see Perry pens.
Yeah.
It was a factory in Peribar or...
I think that's just the surname of the person, Joseph Perry, so it wasn't Perry Bar, although it was in a place called Tyseley.
Tyseley,
And just out of
yes.
interest, you'll notice that, believe it or not, that pen factory actually made cars for a short period of time. I believe there's one left in the world. But just to say, that's an unusual sort of thing that they did, but
Yeah.
it was mainly a pen factory.
And I seen another one was Oldbury written on, in the shop.
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's some in the Black Country, absolutely.
The same, or is it was a factory there, or is the name of some?
No, there's one in Oldbury, yeah, as well. Yeah, I mean, most pen factories now have closed. There are some firms that make calligraphy pens, you know, for like fancy writing, and there's still some in Britain, but the vast majority of pens now are made in China, Korea, America. There's some still made in France and Germany. Not sure about Romania, maybe it's in Romania.
I don't know in Romania.
But a lot of the pen factories now, they're made Far East, you know.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Cum se cheamă asta? Potcoavă? Și aici e vulturile. Interesant. Nu știu pentru ce e asta de aici. Dacă îl scanezi, ce se întâmplă. A început să mă doar mâna. De asta am tremură. John Mitchell. Ce micuțe sunt penițele astea. Unde puneai penițele? Un fel de cufăraș. Cum aveam noi la școală, cum aveam penar. Asta era tot așa, drop stamping. Uite că asta făm cu cum era odată. Avea și radio. Unelte. Uite, a făcut și stilouri pentru bicicliști. Cyclist pen. Acum o să mă duc să văd un film aici.
Joseph Gillett. They were all pen manufacturers work in Birmingham and introduced machinery to it. So I don't think we'll ever know, really. But what is agreed is it's the same sort of date that all three of them were working in the industry, the 1820s, the late 1820s. And it happened to coincide with a period where the cutlery business in Sheffield was in decline, and so quite a lot of metal workers came to Birmingham for alternative work. Joseph Gillett was one of those. Typical Birmingham industrialist though, coming to the city, seeing the skills, seeing the mixture.
Banana and let the skin. And I said, well, we can't do anything with the skin. So I went to the first aid box and got the cotton weight, pushed it down the banana and just put it on his desk like that. So, they said, some God persons with another banana. So it fell out. And he looked round and said, me? I said, yes, you. He said, I think it is you. And of course they fired on me afterwards. Rough and red. I remember the pens and the what's it coming out? What was that? Pen? No. There's something else come out after the pen nibs. Bardo come out.
When the war started and we was all out, the factory was left empty, and then it wasn't very long after it was knocked down, and then there was nothing there to remind you that you would even work there.
Aici poți să vezi. Bine că am noroc acum că nu e aglomerat nimeni. Aici, dacă vrei, poți să faci și cursuri de caligrafie, cum să scrii mai frumos. Nu știu cât costă, dar o să întreb.
Some people say James Perry, some say John Mitchell.
Too much like a Western woman. Found my aim in life. We're a drop star. The thing is,
S-a terminat filmul. Asta e intrarea la a treia cameră. The Philip Pool room.
Three, okay to look after this gentleman. Okay. Cheers.
Thank you.
Three will look after you. Okay.
so this is our largest room.
Yes.
You're going to have our collection that the volunteers have chosen. You're going to have a collection of inkwells from around the world, blotters. There's an interactive screen where you can look in much greater detail the objects that we have.
Yeah.
As you make your way around, at the back you'll see typewriters and you'll be able to do some calligraphy from the book. We can also analyse your handwriting if you want us to. And then the other thing you'll see is a novelty items, so different things that they came up with, like pencils in walking sticks and things like that.
Sorry, I've seen on the website that you have classes for calligraphy.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that?
Classes for calligraphy, it depends. There's modern calligraphy and they're held on Saturdays and Sundays and you can book them via our online webpage.
How much is it and how
It
how,
depends which class
how long?
you pick. If you do modern calligraphy, it's about, I think, £60 and it lasts most of the day. If you do the traditional calligraphy on a Sunday, I'm not sure, it's not as much as £60.
That's only in the weekend, no?
A few hours, yeah. But you need to check online to see
Alright.
what dates are available and what you can book.
Alright.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sunt ștampile, mașini de scris. Alte stilouri. Furculițe. Aici sunt cele mici. Liberia. Sunt puse pe... Asta e franțuzesc, French, German, Italian, Swedish, Liberia, Iberia, USA, Japan, Western, Eastern Europe, assorted, adică neasortate. Asta Eastern Europe ar trebui să fie de la noi, de zona aia. Uite, Austrian, Hungarian, Czech. Nu văd dacă sunt din România. Perețe. Sample cards, British pens. Uite, astea sunt englezești. Uite, asta seamănă cu un tank. Ce faine sunt și astea. Ce fain arată halba asta micuță. Uite și un porcușor. Deci că e porc măstruț. Schiarici cu țepi. Recipiente unde se țineau cernelele. Diferite recipiente pentru cernele. Steven Sink. Pan Museum in the heart of the jewelry. Asta e vechetare, pare. E calculator, ce e asta? Comptometer in office. Era calculator asta, cum ai zis eu. Gillette's pen. Câte stilouri. Tot felul de penițe. Joseph Gilo. După nume pare franceză la Joseph Gilo.
I don't know what discussion you had with Casey, but I wanted to know, do you want me to...
Ce tare! Câte sunt aici? Tot felul de penițe. Tare, nu? Este altul catalog, așa. Pare. Cum sunt acum, cu parfumuri, cu... Asta e catalogul. Peniți. Nebunii. Ce fel arată stilul ăsta. Ce fain. Ce fain e și ăsta, zici că e o sabie, așa. Gold pens. Stilouri din aur. Nebunie. Papagala nu știu ce face, cred că ștergea stilou. Nu știu ce e cu... Cred că imprima litere. Un fel de printer. Că văd că avea aici rola aia cu hârtie și cred că imprima când apăsai. Înțelegeai tastul, cred că numerele. Un fel de mașină de scris. Deci papagala e numărul 9. Ce e la 9? La 9 e parrot wipe. Parrot pen wipe. Choose this. Linda Judith makes her smile. Design for expression saying I'm too superior to be silly. Alte penițe pe aici. Asta e portmoneul vânzătorului. Salesman wallet. Îți întindea asta și îți alegeai penița pe care vrei să cumperi, să scrii. Uite-mă și pe mine acolo. Câinele cu pană. Stil asiatic acolo cu elefanți. Uite și papagalul cu cerneala acolo. Cățelul la fel, care ținea pana sau stiloul. Da, dacă vrei să faci poze cu costume dintre astea mai vechi, poți să alegi de aici pixul, stiloul. Uite, caligrafie and 10 easy lessons. Uite și mașina de scris. E o hârtie mai grasă, așa. Nu prea e bună vremea. M-am făcut numai cerneală. Am cumpărat niște stilouri. Când mi-a dat penița aia gratuit, trebuia să iau ceva. Plus că i-am luat lui Delia. Plus că i-am luat Deliei, nu lui Delia. I-am luat Deliei că îi plac mult pixurile și sigur o să aprecieze un stilou. Ce frumos plouă afară! Dar putea să plouă înăuntru. A, bine că nu. Acum m-am dus să mănânc ceva, că mi-e foame. Hai că e frumos afară. Așa trebuie, dacă nu ți iei umbrela cu tine, nu știi că e ce e.